Hello there and welcome to this week's edition of Creative Critique. Now the theatrically released film that I've been to see this week is effectively the film that is getting an awful lot of attention. It's the awards season and the film is The Revenant, and directly a lot of what one man is getting a lot of attention, hasn't he? That is Leonardo DiCaprio. I'll quickly go over a brief synopsis of the plot. So we are in 1800s North America, and we are following a group of trappers led by Donald can't say his name, Donald Gleason's captain, who they're on the search for pelts. And under his command is experienced tracker and a person who knows the land very, very well. Leonardo DiCaprio is it Philip Glass? I apologise if I've got his first name right, it's definitely Glass. Who is obviously kind of under command of Donald Gleason, but really is leading this expedition. Also under Gleason's command is a fellow tracker played by Tom Hardy, who is a complete antithesis to Glass and quite a adversary throughout the film, differing in opinion and just general ideas, it's very fair to say. And so it's them about effectively they're being tracked by Native Americans. While the film's going on, there's a group of Native Americans who are trying to track a member of their tribe, particularly a daughter of one of the leaders of these tribes, and that has been stolen from them by a group of white men. Obviously, that's referred to them, but they don't know particularly which white men, so they are pursuing DiCaprio, Hardy, Gleason, and their group of trackers. And it must be said they themselves do not have this girl, but that is what is going on. So the film opens with an almighty, superbly directed sequence where their little troop come under attack from the Native Americans. And as previously with, now I'm going to get his name right here, Alejandro González, no, I got it wrong, Alejandro González Iñárritu, the Mexican director who directed Birdman, of course. Now, I had major issues with Birdman last year. I thought there was some absolutely fabulous stuff in Birdman, but there was particular themes and ideas I completely, really had trouble with and argued against ferociously. So he's a man of interesting ideas, whether you agree with them, and interesting ways of shooting, and that is no different here with this film. His those long tracking shots, those long tracking shots, are exemplary, and continued obviously on from Birdman, but here it's almost another notch again because of the things it's portraying. Sorry, what is portraying. And it's superbly exercised here again with some fabulous editing, because clearly this is not a completely one-shot take, no matter how much it does well to convince you otherwise. But it's superbly done. It's effectively they're being surrounded almost in a circle by these tribes, and they're trying to get away out of the woods onto a boat on a river. So there's just scenes of them just obviously in combat and just being slaughtered, them getting obviously giving back as good as they get in some aspects. It's superbly done. Editing fabulous, and it's then about them get back to one of their safe havens after this attack, led by Glass. After they get away on the boat, they go to land, leaving the boat behind because that is what they're going to be tracking, is the boat. They effectively go into the forest, and this is where the main point of the film really kicks in, is that DiCaprio's character Glass is attacked by a bear while he's out hunting, and is pretty much on death's door. They, of course, try and bandage him up as best as they can and carry him certain part of the way, but it comes to a point where it's going to be to their own detriment to actually continue with carrying him, and they'll fall behind and eventually get caught up by these Native Americans. So a decision is made by Donald Gleason to say a couple of men to stay behind with him until he dies, and to give him a proper burial. So he gets a few volunteers from Tom Hardy. Well, one of the other characters, who is played by Will Poulter, a rather young member of the troupe, and also by, I should have mentioned this earlier, the Native American son of DiCaprio, which leads to a large portion of the resentment that Tom Hardy's character has for him, having been the fact that in the past Tom Hardy's character was partially scalped by some Native Americans. So there's a lot of resentment clear there. In some aspects, you can see it's justifiable, but obviously not in the grand scheme of things. It's not helping that relationship and then how they work as a group. That is an incredible scene, by the way, with him being attacked by this bear. It's superbly done again. Fabulous. I say fabulous, isn't it fabulous? DiCaprio's being attacked by a bear. No, I don't mean it like that, of course, but it's superbly portrayed. And now, do I want to go into other aspects of the film? No, I'll have to, because it ends about me talking about what goes on, because that's a large portion of what's going on. And effectively, they come to a point where Hardy pretty much just wants the money and wants to get the hell out of there. So he makes out that they're about to be attacked by some Native Americans, convinces Will Poulter's character to effectively abscond with him, and they throw him in a ditch that they have dug, ready for his burial, and leave him for dead. Under Hardy's leadership there, it must be said. What occurs is obviously there's no sort of attack being going on, and DiCaprio slowly but surely is not on the road to recovery, but getting better and able to move a bit further. And it's then about him sort of trying. Oh, no, that's a bit of a plot spoiler, so I won't say that bit. By him chasing down Tom Hardy's character, and effectively, it's a revenge flick from there on in. So it sounds like a pleasant film, doesn't it? And in part, it's why I didn't make it my film, because I saw this last week, I must say, but in the week with Creed, and I didn't go with this first because I felt I could talk more amply and more confidently about Creed with more enthusiasm. And when I say enthusiasm, I mean this film has such great qualities about it. It certainly has great qualities about it, but as a film, as a feeling, it's hard to love, and that's no fault of the film, because it's not asking to be loved in that sort of general term because of what it depicts. It's quite a depressing film. It's a dirty film. I think it's a gritty film, and you can appreciate aspects of it. Whether you will completely love the film is completely up to you. I can always appreciate aspects of this sort of film, but like I say, it's hard to love. There's fabulous stuff about it, like I say, the fabulous stuff with the bear attack and the editing and those one-tracking one-shots, and the performance of DiCaprio is absolutely amazing. It is amazing. And yes, there'll be a lot of people going, is it amazing? Really, is it? Yes, it is. Completely validated in all the awards nominations, and let's face it, the main questions to be answered about The Revenant is, if Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't win an Oscar for Best Actor this time round, will he implode on himself? Because this film pretty much could be the epitome of all his efforts over the years about how much he's put into roles. In his role in this film, he probably has if you compare it to, say, Michael Fassbender's role in Steve Jobs, he probably has about less than a tenth of the amount of dialogue that Fassbender has to speak, but all the work he's doing is in the physicality of the role. And I've heard sort of things saying, oh, he didn't actually do things certainly as physical, but that's a credit to the actor, isn't it? Because he's convincing me that he is. He's done a fabulous job in portraying that. So DiCaprio is wonderful. He's truly wonderful. It's a great solid support cast from Donald Gleeson and Will Poulter. And what's to be discussed, I think, is Tom Hardy as well, because Tom Hardy is really good in the film. He is good in the film. But he's been nominated for quite a few awards, and in particular the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. Now, I have a problem with him saying this is one of the best performances of the year, because, I think Tom Hardy's a great actor, but there's certain things about his performances in films that are very, very similar. And it's interesting. I want to see him do something a bit different. And let's face it, he's a constant mumbler, isn't he? Because I was having trouble again trying to understand what he was saying. Is that my fault? Is that his fault? Is that the sound people's fault? I don't know. But I was having trouble listening to certain things he was saying in the dialogue. So, is he worthy of award attention? I think there's a big debate to be had there, and personally, I think there's stronger performances in this year to say no. Personally, he's really good, but I don't think he's in proper contention for the award. I mean, proper contention. So he's great. He's good. He's good and great, Tom Hardy, but he's not exceptional, in my opinion, of what the awards is portraying him to have been. But like I say, solid. It's completely solid support. The great support cast. DiCaprio was wonderful. And like I say, the editing and the cinematography. My word, the cinematography is just outstanding to view, and it's one of those films I wish I'd seen possibly on sort of an IMAX screen, because those landscapes are just fabulous. And the fact that it was shot in natural daylight is what I understand. Every single scene in the film is of natural daylight, and that lends itself to the film perfectly and wonderfully well of lighting of that environment and those landscapes. Wonderful, truly wonderful. Negatives. The film's life is a bit trying. I will admit it was a bit trying, and it's mainly trying because of what it depicts. Like I say, it's not a film you can absolutely love, in my opinion, in that sort of sense of the word. And I'm not overall. See, I've mentioned many positives, but I don't think overall it's to say, is this the best film of the year, considering the amount of nominations it's been receiving all around the board? Discussions to be had again there. But like I say, the main thing you're going to be taking away from this film is DiCaprio's performance. It is a truly wonderful performance, and yes, if he wins the Oscar, I have absolutely no qualms about winning it, to be honest. It is gripping, and it is the main thing you're going to take away from the film. Alejandro González Iñárritu has produced a film that I probably have, in terms of its aspects, I probably appreciate certain things more about this film possibly than Birdman, but I had major issues with Birdman, like I said. So there we go. The Revenant was my theatrical release film of the week. Now, my classic film of the week is a film so far flung from this film, you would not believe. Considering, as I say, how hard to love this film is. The classic film I'm reviewing this week is Little Shop of Horrors. And the Little Shop of Horrors I'm referring to is the 1986 musical adaptation of the stage show of the same name, which of course was an adaptation itself of a Roger Corman film from 1960, I believe. Yes. So, what goes on in Little Shop of Horrors is effectively it's a little plant shop owned by Vincent Gardenia. Working for him is Rick Moranis and Ellen Green, who are quite two sort of not confident individuals who don't seem to have luck in love. You can set a sense of what's going to be happening already, can't you? And their business is not going very well until Rick Moranis goes, "Oh, I got this plant the other day," and he puts it in the shop window, and suddenly business picks up because it's quite an unusual and peculiar plant. And what shall I describe? I've not mentioned it is a musical film, of course. It's an adaptation of the stage musical, and in my opinion, I'm just going to quickly go over some of the themes of this. Now, considering the film is a PG-rated film, it features some rather frequent swearing, themes of domestic abuse, killing, mutilation, and a patient who gets a sexual thrill by going to the dentist. The rating could certainly be a bit more possibly there, but the fact it's done in such jest and such fun is probably what got the rating down. So it's a great nerdy performance by Rick Moranis, and Ellen Green is quite. She's on the stage show, I believe. She was one of the original stage actors to actually perform in the film, and you can tell her singing there at that moment on screen is her singing. Rick Moranis is dubbed, because obviously he's not been able to sing for this role, but he brings all the acting qualities that he has brought to previous films in the 80s that he's best known for. Now, there's some fabulous songs in this film. I particularly love Feed Me, Get It, and obviously Mean Green Mother from Outer Space was an original song for the film. But there's a song that just absolutely stands out comedically as the best song in the film, because Steve Martin pops up as the boyfriend of Ellen Green. They rather, like I say, when I was referring to domestic abuse before, he's not the nicest boyfriend in the world. That's putting it lightly. And he's a dentist. And there's a song called, well, Dentist. And there's something about the... So I read the fact that some of the things that he does in this sort of song sequence was him on set going, I'll do this, I will do this. And those things are some of the best things about the song, and what makes it one of the best musical songs I've ever heard and witnessed. And one of the best comedic moments in the film, in any film, because the timing of the song and the beat and his actions are just truly wonderful in this scene where he's quite a sadistic dentist. He loves his flipping job. He loves the fact that he manages to cause pain to people, and that's what he gets off on. So there's somebody else getting off on something about dentistry. Yes, and you should not really love that sort of song, should you? But it's fabulous. It's probably my favourite Steve Martin moment in a film, because it's so condensed, it's so brilliantly precise and comedically timed. It is wonderful. The songs, like I say, are so catchy, like the ones I've mentioned. The animatronics for now, I've said to this plant before. This plant has a peculiar way of being fed, and the fact it needs blood, and then possibly humans to be feeding it. So obviously it sends up a moral question, really. Certain things occur, like I was saying before, with things regarding killing and mutilation. But this plant obviously grows at a certain point. I won't say why he grows or in what capacity to what makes him grow. Obviously I've hinted at certain things. But the animatronics for the plant that Rick Moranis called Audrey 2, after Audrey, who Ellen Greene plays, is fascinating and brilliantly animated. I'm trying to think who did the effects now. I can't remember. I really apologise. I'm trying to give credit to somebody, and I'm not going to be able to give it officially and properly. Fabulous animatronics on the Audrey 2, and the way it's timed with the music is fantastic. It's fantastically done, and is voiced by Levi Stubbs of the Four Tops. Wonderful again. Wonderful, because his voice suits that sort of role and that musical environment perfectly well. And again, comedically, he has some fabulous moments, and then where this plant is just spewing out profanity, effectively, in front of obviously Rick Moranis and whoever else is there. Some some great cameos obviously in the film. Bill Murray pops up, as I referred to, as the patient who gets a sexual thrill by going to the dentist. Fabulously wonderful comedic moments. Others pop up I will not refer to, because John Candy, Christopher Guest, James Belushi, and obviously Steve Martin's Petty has a prolonged cameo, really. Great stuff. An hour and 95 minutes. Beautiful time, not over long. Certain things of it do look a bit... Some of the settings possibly do look a bit dated, set-wise, because it was like a studio pick, on a lot, if you will. I think it was filmed in Pinewood, possibly, in the UK. Or was it Shepperton? It was one of the two UK settings, studios. But yeah, otherwise, I love the film. I love the soundtrack. I listen to it continuously and whenever I can. Great songs, great comedic performances. In my opinion, one of the most underrated musical comedies around, and therefore one of the most underrated musicals, in my opinion, because the songs are catchy, performance was great, and Frank Oz, the director, did a fabulous job in this film. Great stuff. So yeah, Little Shop of Horrors was my classic film of the week, and The Revenant was my theatrical release film of the week. I do hope you enjoyed what I've had to say. I do hope you subscribe, and I do hope to see you and speak to you again at some point. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.